So you've made the decision to get your first gun. It's a huge decision. Congratulations. You know, there's a lot of people on the channel who do not have a gun yet, partly because they're not of age yet, and now you're about to turn legal age to get your first gun. Maybe you're a female and you just haven't taken the plunge yet to take advantage of your Second Amendment, protect your life and other people's lives. There's just a lot of people out there who do not have a gun yet. Let's talk about it. It's a tough question to answer. I get that question a lot. And what I'm going to ask all of you in the audience, when you put your comments in, please be straightforward with your comments, meaning don't just say like Beretta PX4 Storm and that's it. But put a reason behind it, like A, B, C, and D. The reasons why, because there's a lot of people looking for us for answers as to what their first gun should be. So when you put your comments in, kindly leave a detailed comment, straightforward detailed comment as to why you recommend this to be someone's first gun. We've got a number of guns here. We're gonna try to fly through the video, make it quick, and we'll talk about which gun you should get for your very first gun. Welcome to weaponseducation.com. All right, let's talk about a number of things here for your decision making and getting your first gun. How about caliber? I made the mistake. You know what my first gun was? A lot of you already know it. It was a Colt Delta Elite 1911 10 millimeter, a monster of a gun. So you really got to take caliber into consideration, because if it's going to have too much recoil, it's going to scare you in the beginning. You're not going to practice all that much with it. It's going to be too expensive. The ease of ammunition is also very important to obtain. I think the best caliber for your very first gun, just all around, is a 9 millimeter, because the ease of getting the ammunition is there. It's readily available. It's not all that expensive, and the 9 millimeter is a pretty good round all around. How about which gun is easily available to rent? Because you want the gun to have a good fit and feel. You want to be comfortable with it. After all, I mean, you're dealing with a deadly weapon. So go to your local range and see what they have to rent, and rent a couple of guns and try them out first. That's just a good idea. We know the Glocks are all readily available to rent, and a Glock 19 being a 9 millimeter just might be your best choice. I'm going to show you at the end my top 2 choices for the top 2 guns you should get for your very first gun. So affordability is important, the gun overall, the expense of the gun, the expense of the ammunition. And the recoil is important, so think of the caliber that you choose. Now let's just move on forward and talk about different types of guns you can choose. My wife is here. Say hello, Tammy.
Hi.
Okay, thank you for doing this. Take a look down here, and let's just start with this, with a revolver. Okay, you're not going to choose a .44 Magnum, obviously. I've just put one out here for display. Take a look down here at this revolver, and what's good about a revolver is it's extremely straightforward. As we know, and they're all safety check guns, you load up your cylinder, you close it, you're ready to go. Double action, point and shoot, bang. Single action, you know, you got a feather here. You got to be careful with this, because if you're in single action and you're a new gun owner, you can easily, as soon as you pull leather, and if you're in single action, you put it in single action, you can fire that trigger unintentionally. So, but the revolver is an excellent choice for your very first gun, and the caliber I would recommend is a .38. And since you know, you can be spending the money on a gun, maybe you should get a .357 Magnum, which also shoots .38s, and then your first maybe 6 months of shooting that gun and practicing with it regularly and getting your training, and that's so important, as we know, getting personalized training. Shoot your .38s out of a .357 if you didn't get the revolver, and then you can always, if you want to, once you're really acclimated with that gun, then you can shoot some .357s out of it. Get a steel frame. Yeah, that's a question that comes up also with any gun. But when we're talking about revolvers, I would get a steel, not the scandium type frames from Smith, because the recoil is going to be a little much for your first gun. But for a revolver, yeah, steel, revolver, .357, I would say a 4-inch barrel, and then just shoot .38s out of it. and until you're really comfortable, and then you can carry it, and you shoot your 357s. Well, the other question you have to answer or ask yourself is, why are you buying the gun? Take a look up at me for a second, please. Why are you buying your first gun? Usually, I would say 90% of you who are buying your first gun are buying it for personal protection. You're not buying it to go out and clink. I have a 22 here we'll talk about in a moment. Generally speaking, you're buying it for personal home defense, personal defense, to carry. So which gun is going to be most comfortable on your body? You have to keep that into consideration. How you're going to holster it, you have to think about that. Let's move along here and talk about a different gun here. Take a look down, please. And the second type of gun you can get, well, we'll just call it a double action, single action, semi-automatic. And I have a SIG P220 right here to give you an example. Now a double action, single action, well, it means just that. You can shoot it in double or single action, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we are in all the safety check guns, double action, and then also single action. What I like about the SIGs is you have a decocker here, and I do like the decockers, so you can carry it hot. And I always recommend, that's just me, if you're going to carry a gun, you got to have a round in the chamber. You don't want to have someone point the gun at your head and you have a split second, nanosecond to make a decision to protect your life. Do I have to rack the slide? Is it loaded? Is it not loaded? You want the gun loaded. Well, that's why I like the decocker. But you have this as an option, which is a double action, single action. Really not probably your first choice for your very first gun. But it's up to you. I'm just throwing out ideas, and that's why the comments are so important. Then we can look at a 1911. A 1911 is single action only, which means that hammer has to be back. Okay? Then you have your safety right here. So if you're going to carry it, like I said, hot, then you're going to want the safety up, but it's something else for you to think about when you go to protect your life in that split nanosecond that you got to drop that safety. And then disassembly is also something you have to consider when you're buying your first gun. Is a 1911 the easiest gun to disassemble? It's not all that difficult, but they have tight tensions. You can easily scratch your gun here, and it's a little bit more time consuming. It's certainly not as easy as a Glock or an XDM Springfield, which we're about to look at next. Let's look at a striker fire type gun. And the hammer, as you can see, well, here's one that's striker fired, and then here's one that's hammer fired. We'll do a separate video. Obviously, this does not have an external hammer on it. It's a totally different system. We'll do a separate video on the difference in a striker fire and a hammer fired gun. But two of the more famous types of striker-fired guns are a Glock or a Springfield XDM. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to tell you my favorite two and the best choice for you, in my opinion, as your first gun. Please take a look nice close at these two guns here. And chambered in 9mm. This is a Glock 19 right here, which we know is chambered in 9mm. Not much thinking involved once the gun's loaded. Just don't pull the trigger. That's your safety. That's your main safety on all guns. Then you got your Springfield, the XD. You might as well spend a couple extra bucks and get the M version. And we spoke about what the M means. It gives you a match grade barrel and some other things like that. But what I like about the Springfield for the first time gun owner is it's got some extra safeties that the Glock does not. And we have on top is a loaded chamber indicator right here. So when the gun is loaded, you can feel it and you could look at it and tell that if there's a round in the chamber. You also have the striker status indicator, which you can see that pin right there sticking out. You can just look at it or feel it and tell that it's loaded. You've also got a grip safety here. Those three safeties are there, and I like that. But these two guns right here, chambered in 9mm, a Glock 19 or any Springfield XD or XDM, chambered in 9mm, I think are excellent choices for your first gun purchase, and I think they'll be very happy with it. You can go to the range and readily rent a Glock 19, try it out, And also, I wanted to bring up a 22 real quick. I like the Sig Mosquito. If you're not buying a gun for personal defense, of course the 22 will kill just as well also. This you can really have a lot of fun with. If you just want to get a gun just for funsies and that's inexpensive to shoot, don't forget about a 22, a Sig Mosquito, or any 22. Ruger makes some great 22s. The Mark III, this is easy to disassemble. Unlike the Mark III, is a little bit more difficult. But I tell you right now, the Sig Mosquito is excellent. If you just want to go to the range, have fun with your first brand new gun of your life. It's cheap to shoot. It's like 10 bucks per 100 rounds, okay? So there you have it. Take a look up, we'll say goodbye. Please throw in your comments on this one. I know I went quick and we just talked briefly about a couple of different ideas. What do you think you would recommend to someone for their first new gun, and why? Which gun and why? That's really the key part of your comment. Thank you so much. Please subscribe. Please tell a friend. Check it out.